What is going on, guys? It's Dan the Man, aka Daniel's son, and I thought this would be a fun video to do. I have talked about Tenchi Muyo in the past, especially on the current situation of the last kind of OVA that happened with Tenchi actually marrying all the girls and having a happy ending for us fans because we always wanted to see him either with Ryoko, Ayeka, Mihoshi, whatever, and that actually came true. And what I really wanted to really talk about is a fun little segment where we call anime gems. And anime gems is basically a lot of the underrated anime, even the old school classic animes that I think you should be watching. Now, Tenchi is a very vast universe, pun intended, because there is a series called Tenchi Universe, but you have dojinshis are like a manga style thing. You have mangas. You have a lot of different OVAs from the Tenchi universe. You have so much Tenchi content, even though a lot of the content in the present time and a couple years back, where it doesn't really focus on the main crew, there is Tenchi Muyo series that really do focus on the main crew that I grew up with a lot of people growing up with, that I think a lot of the young generation needs to experience. So if you are having trouble finding that great anime gem, that great underrated anime that you've heard about maybe but you never really watched, or you need convincing to watch, or just need a recommendation in general, this is part one of Dan Man's recommendations of anime that you may have not heard about. So it's a tricky slope to ski on, right? Tenchi has so many different OVAs, especially with the first series, the Tenchi Ryoki OVA, where it continues with multiple seasons, a lot of chaos happening in the storyline. But I'm going to say at least the first season of that Tenchi Ryoki OVA is such a gem, such a classic, where you kind of really get introduced to a lot of these characters like Mihoshi, Tenchi, Ryoko, Washu, Ayeka, Sasami, and the household in general. Where's the category? Is it gruesome? Is it violent? Is it happy? Is it funny? Is it romantic? It's romantic, it's a slice of life, it's very peaceful, but it's funny at some points. And the animation back in the day with the first OVAs that came out was sincere. It was beautiful. It was not as maybe the highest quality ever, but it really did capture a lot of what the characters were about, their design. I recommend the dub, not the sub. I mean, well, a lot of people do go the sub route, but I recommend the dub. This is one of the few animes I'm gonna recommend you guys where the dub is, yes, it's goofy going back and watching it. It doesn't fit sometimes with a lot of the movement, but it just works, especially with Ryoko's voice actress, who I got to meet her personally years ago, and that was one of the only voice actresses or voice actors I've ever wanted to meet in my lifetime, because I grew up with this in Toonami, of course, because Toonami introduced this series to me in like the 90s, the early 2000s, when I was growing up in elementary school. And I actually preferred this over Dragon Ball Z, even though Dragon Ball Z was such a phenomenon. Everybody was grasping to it. Everybody was talking about it. But Tenchi Muyo, to me, was that anime that I just absolutely fell in love with. So any animes I always recommend to a lot of people out there, I always bring up Tenchi Muyo. Tenchi Muyo was like my first kind of romance where the main guy is, all the women love this main guy. He's just a very generic kind of main character in Tenchi Masaki, but there's something to him. He's sweet, he's wholesome, he's caring. He takes care of the girls. He does what he needs to do. He's kind of a straight laced kind of guy, but he has hidden power. There is something. He's Jiraiya kind of like level. He has this power that he can unlock. So there's a lot of things happening with Tenchi other than, a lot of the girls who are once a space pirate, once a princess, once part of the police force that fall in love with him. So the first OVA, Tenchi Ryoki, Tenchi Muyo, it's such a great like start of it all, because Ryoko is not really a space pirate. in at first she's actually a demon. She's actually has great powers, and I fell in love with the character design and the character herself, Ryoko. Ryoko is why I'm recommending this anime too, is because that character is funny. The laugh that Patria Bertrand, I don't want to butcher her name, but her laugh is so iconic. And every now and then when I think about the series, that's the one thing that kind of I go straight to my memory bank is that iconic laugh that Ryoko Hakubi has. So I just love the first kind of season and the first Tenchi Muyo series that Toonami presented. The just the atmospheric, the kind of each episode, yes, it had like kind of a bigger story on that first season, but it really felt like kind of a sitcom kind of thing where you tuned in and each episode was either wholesome, gave presented characters, gave their character backgrounds, but everything was just gelling so well. The music, phenomenal opening, phenomenal voice acting. Like everything just gelled so right, and it just made you feel good. A lot of it really felt the same when it came to the vibe, when it came to the atmosphere of the series. I know some people don't like that. Some people want a little bit of a jump. They want a little bit of fighting going on. They want a little bit more action. They want more than just, continue situations between the girls and the girls who the girls like, the protagonist, the main character. And that kind of what Tenchi Muyo does, but it does it in such a fun way, and you really just can't stop watching the series. Now, making this video, the one I really want to talk about is that is an underrated gem, is one of the things I think you should actually first jump into for it to really be called an underrated anime, and that's Tenchi Universe. Tenchi Universe is Tenchi Muyo. If that was the sprint, this is the straight out going to the like almost to the finish line, straight out running as fast as you can, putting it all in, doing everything you can to win the race. This Tenchi Universe is in my opinion, the best out of everything that Tenchi has made in anime form. Tenchi Universe has a beginning, a middle, and it really does have an end. And I think, yes, there's a movie that kind of pairs with it, which I highly recommend too. It's called Tenchi in Love 2, and I actually really, really love that movie as well. So Tenchi Universe is so fun, so vibrant. So if you didn't dig the Tenchi Muyo, where it kind of the pacing and the atmosphere and the feel of it was just kind of one key, this is everywhere. This is drama, this is funny, this is romantic, it has everything that you would want in an anime, has all the elements, has everything that you would cook to make a delicious meal. And man, does Tenchi Muyo, or I should say Tenchi Universe, deliver so much. Washu has to be one of my favorite characters out of this whole series of Tenchi Muyo series, because her laugh, once again, amazing. The dub, once again, the actress, amazing. But such a cool design, has like a crab-like, lobster-like design. The mother of Ryoko. There's just something about a lot of these characters, not only Washu and Ryoko and Tenchi, but you also have Ayeka. She does bring a lot to the table with a rivalry between Ryoko. You always need like a nice rivalry when it comes to anime, and those two bounce off each other so well, especially the voice actresses bounce off so well. Back and forth. There is a lot of episodes in Tenchi Universe, especially the episode where it's different timelines, or it's a lot of the girls' kind of dream scenario. And there's a lot of particular episodes with revolving Ryoko and Ayeka, and they nail it, man. They nail it. It's the comical, the genius of the writing of the dub. It's really, really great to see. It brings a smile to your face. Tenchi Universe doesn't just stay in one spot like in Tenchi Muyo. It goes to where it needs to go in the universe. And not saying that Tenchi Muyo didn't do that, because Tenchi Muyo did have a particular with Ryoko and her ex kind of boss and the introduction of Washu. There was a lot of those elements in the first OVA, but Tenchi Universe is able to capitalize on actually a bigger threat. And even though I believe his name is Kagato, the main villain, isn't the strongest villain I've ever seen in an anime series, he does his job to be there for a foe, for Tenchi, for especially the climax at the end of Tenchi Universe and what Ryoko has to do for Tenchi around that time. I mean, it just gets more build up, and you're just like a Dragon Ball Z episode. You want to see what the next episode's going to present, and then when you finally get this episode, it's very phenomenal. The music's beautiful, the design is great, the action's great, there's stakes up high. So Tenchi Universe really brings so much to the table, and that is probably one of the most underrated anime gems that I recommend to anybody. And you don't even have to see the first Tenchi Muyo Ryoki series OVA. This is technically the second OVA, and I think you could just really start there. And then after the series, you can go to Tenchi in Love 2, which is kind of a sequel to Tenchi Universe, and even that has such a fantastic ending, especially if you're a Ryoko fan. But also, just it's a really good it kind of has that same atmosphere with Tenchi 1, where it's not. It doesn't feel like the same pacing as Tenchi Universe, but it has its own kind of thing going on. What I'm trying to say is Tenchi Muyo in general. Tenchi's characters, side characters, the music, the animation, everything that I wanted to really kind of start off in anime. This is kind of a good gateway drug to anime. You have your Death Notes, right? You have your Naruto's, you have your Dragon Ball Z's, but this is underrated anime. This is anime I want to tell you guys about that's not big right now. That's not JJK. That's not Boku no Hero Academia. That's really something that this is such an older property, but it's a classic. This is something that a lot of people maybe have heard about, but I don't think so nowadays. I don't think a lot of people I don't think they know what Tenchi is all about. And me just giving you the crumpets of what Tenchi is all about, it's more of you need to go watch. You just got to trust me on this. If you do like slice of life anime, if you do like romantic anime, if you like fun shenanigans, I guess the best thing I would say is a long time ago, there was Haganai. I believe I said that wrong, but Haganai was one of the big popular kind of romantic, like will he, will she kind of anime. This is something, I know the ending was terrible. I know a lot of people hated it. This is an anime I would say, listen, that happened, but go to this one. Even if there isn't an official pairing in this anime, now to this day, if you go to OVA 1, Tenchi Muyo, the first season, there is official confirmation, but Tenchi Universe, not necessarily, but it's the ride. The carnival is absolutely beautiful. It's such a great watch. It ends in a fantastic way. So if not anything, Tenchi Universe is just killing it, right? It's one of the animes that doesn't leave you going, why did I spend my time watching this older anime? Why was I so invested in a lot of these characters? Because we do get invested in a lot of these characters, and we do get invested in a lot of these series that don't end properly. Tenchi Muyo is the type of series that it didn't need to end properly because it had a satisfying ending with anything, with any of the series, with any of the OVAs. Tenchi Muyo is a little different, but the OVA one. But you know what? It still doesn't leave you hating it, right? It just leaves you confused. But Tenchi Universe leaves you with a great sense of joy and wanting a little bit more content, and in a good way. So if you like your Spice and Wolf, if you like your Nisekoi, if you like your high school DxD, especially high school DxD, if you like a little bit of romance but with a little comedy in there, if you want to root for a particular girl and you want a likable protagonist, something to root for, if you want not necessarily so dramatic like Clanhead, this is the anime I highly recommend, at least trying. If not Tenchi, the first season of Muyo, try Tenchi Universe. Tenchi Universe is a banger. And after that, I would grab a couple episodes of Tenchi in Tokyo or even give it a go. Definitely watch the first season of Tenchi Muyo, see if you want to continue that. But Tenchi overall is something I think a lot of people should get invested in and really kind of check it out. If not just the anime, but the manga. But this is an anime part one recommendation, so I do recommend at least trying those two. The first to start off, Tenchi Muyo or Tenchi Universe especially, and then maybe give Tenchi Tokyo a go and see. Of course, you're going to be disappointed on the quality of it, but there is a lot of great gems in there. So please give Tenchi Universe, Tenchi Muyo, Tenchi in Tokyo a try, and let me know what you guys think. I'm Dan the Man, aka Daniel's son. It has been a pleasure to recommend one of my favorite animes of all time. I hope you guys are doing good and you guys enjoy, your day. And let me know if you've seen this series or you're about to. Thank you. Have a good one.